Hey, what is going on, you guys? John Shea here from the No Shame Income Vlog, and today I have an interesting subject I want to talk with you guys about. Basically, I want to talk a little bit about how I earned over $140,000 in the year of 2018, last year, and how I spent this money on my small home, basically improving my home. And what I wanted to really do today for you guys is kind of talk a little bit about what I do when it comes to actually earning a substantial amount of money in a year, and how I've been able to reinvest that money where I kind of utilize that spending. I know there's a lot of channels out there that talk about doing things like 401ks or going and investing in stocks and all these other things. But I decided, because that really just, I don't know, not that it's not something I'm interested in. I more wanted to expand my living situation by also making the most of what it is that I do in my day-to-day life, right? So I wanted to think about, what are the things that I do every day that are kind of like necessities, and how do I improve them so my quality of life is even better? So I want to talk a little bit about kind of my strategy around when I went into buying my first home, my thought process into all of this, and why I decided to, not necessarily live as like a minimalist, but sort of live around this idea that I could live in a property that was very inexpensive and still have that ability to really kind of have like a luxury lifestyle. So I want to talk a little bit about this today, but I first thought I'd show you up here on my screen. You can see this was the year 2018. I'm logged into my QuickBooks self-employed. I made $143,000. And believe it or not, I ended up spending over $117,000 on expenses. But most of that was paying out contractors, as well as making massive amounts of improvements to my home. I actually had over 3 or 4 major projects that I worked on all through 2018 and 2019 on improving my home, improving my living situation, and that's what we're going to talk about here today. So let's kind of dive into it. All right, so I'm actually logged into a page for the original listing of my home when I bought this home in 2000, and I think it was 12. It's been about 6 years now, so yeah, it was like 2012, 2013, and I basically, what I had done, when I was looking for a home, I decided to go out there and I spent a lot of time trying to figure out, what is it that I really want out of a home? And I had a few requirements. I needed to have a garage because I had a sports car that needed to be insured, where it needed to be garaged. It couldn't just be sitting out in a driveway. So that was kind of a minimal requirement for me. And then in terms of other things, I just wanted enough space that it was something I could live in on my own, but also potentially be able to bring in a roommate to help me pay for the bills. So what I ended up doing is I looked around in my local area, and I ended up, at the time, I was still working a job. I was making about $40,000 a year. I was open to the idea of condominiums, but I ended up coming across this condo that was actually almost more like a multifamily that got deeded out as a condo. The condo fee was extremely low. It was only $105 every single month, which is very, very low for a condo fee. Most condo fees are anywhere from probably $150, $175, upwards of $300 or $400, depending on the association, because usually they're taking care of your trash pickup and snow plowing and all these other things. This was more like a home environment where I only had 2 neighbors, and I basically would have my own driveway. The other neighbors actually have their driveways on the back of the house from the adjacent street over. So I literally almost never see them. It's almost like I don't even realize they're living in reality the same home as me. And I said, you know what, this is a really good deal. As soon as I saw it, I'd been looking on Zillow and kind of watching trends, seeing prices go up and down, looking at, what kind of living space I could get without necessarily going out there and renting. And I managed to buy this home for $123,000. Now, one of the first things that I did when I went home shopping was I knew, I didn't have this large down payment where I could say go put 20% down. I didn't have $20,000 or $30,000 just lying around. I was only making $40,000 a year. So what I ended up doing is actually looking into something called an FHA program. This basically allows me to put 3.5% down on a home. Now, buying a home that's around $123,000, $125,000, I only needed to pay about $3,000 to be able to make this home purchase. So I ended up doing this, and this was basically a move-in property. I'll even read you the original description. It said, rare, 3-bedroom condo, affordable and desirable end-unit townhouse. Features garage and 2-car driveway, low condo fee, huge attic, partially finished basement, extra storage, ceramic tiled kitchen, formal dining room, living room with French doors, mudroom from fenced in backyard, newer half bath downstairs, full bath upstairs, nothing to do but move right in. So this was really exciting for me. It was my first home. I had lived in apartments. I'd lived in a college dorm before. I'd lived with roommates, but I'd never owned my own property, owned my own real estate. So I wanted to show you guys like some photos of this property. This is actually like the street view, what it looks like outside. If you look at some of these photos here, like this is basically off the kitchen. This was the family room, and you could see like the colors and some of the combinations of things they were doing were absolutely awful. They had this red carpet here, yellow walls. The red carpet was, oh my God, it was like the worst thing I'd ever seen. They had this everywhere. They were using like a huge couch that was blocking one of the ways into the main family room. The TV was over here, and you could see the whole hallway, all the stairs, everything had all this red carpet absolutely everywhere. So I knew, again, it was move-in ready, but this was stuff that I did want to update, right? So the kitchen was in pretty good shape. They had actually updated a lot of the cabinets. They had like a newer fridge, even newer than the one I grew up with in my parents' home. They had like relatively newer tile, but it wasn't like super appealing. As you can see, it's not like the greatest thing in the world. And again, it was still a nice space. Like they had a bathroom over here, an oven, a newer microwave. A lot of the stuff was still fairly up to date. Like there were obviously some improvements that had been made to the home. This is actually the office that I'm sitting in now. This was a little kid's room. And this was another bedroom that was used as a little girl's room. And, you know, again, this was all minor touch-up stuff, like redo the floors, do the paint, things like that. This was the master bedroom, fairly good size. And then they had this basement area that was sort of finished. Like they had laid down this carpet. They did some drywall, but it wasn't really complete. Like you could still see the foundation. It wasn't closed off. It was by no means a finished project. And then, of course, they had the single car garage, so I could store my car in here without any issues. And they also had this backyard area where, you know, you can hang out and have a good time. So where I wanted to leave this, and before I dive into kind of like more or less a tour, I want to show you guys some of the things that I've been spending my money on and how I kind of live my lifestyle, right? This video isn't so much about how I've earned the money, but more or less kind of really what my lifestyle is like in living in a small space like this, and how I've been able to utilize the income that I've made and turn it into this really awesome place that eventually I'm going to be able to pay this whole thing off, and I'm basically going to be living in a very kind of minimalistic way. I'm not going to have like these huge mortgage bills and all this extra stuff just getting piled on top of me. In fact, recently I was able to get what's called the private mortgage insurance removed off the home, because the value of the home is worth so much more than what I put into it, and really the rising market of real estate that's gone up over the years. I was able to get to a point where I can pretty much, you know, remove this insurance, this extra insurance that's on the home, on the mortgage, and it saves me like an additional several hundreds of dollars every year. I think it's about $1,000 I'm saving every year. Now, this actually allowed me to get my mortgage down to literally only, I think it's like $765 a month. Now, if I were to go and Google and search for apartments, there's literally an entire apartment complex that's walking distance from where I live. And to go rent in those buildings, I would be paying a minimum of probably $900 to $950. And those would be for the studio, one bedroom, very basic bare bones apartments. So what I would really say for those of you, before we dive into kind of the tour and I talk about the improvements I've made, is that if you're considering buying a property or getting into some of this stuff, is try to find something where you can get into a move-in ready property that you could improve over time, which is exactly what I've been able to do over the last 5 or 6 years. So let's kind of dive over to, I'm going to jump over to my other camera. I'm going to walk you through the house really quickly and kind of give you an idea of some of the improvements that I've made. I'll walk through and you'll see the difference in some of these photos and the things that I improved upon. All right, so I'm actually going to do, like I said, a quick house tour, and I'll kind of go through all the different rooms. There are a few places in the house I will admit are a little bit messy, but at least I can give you some idea of all the improvements. So this was actually that little boy's room that had a carpet in here. Believe it or not, the carpet was not even stapled to the floor. It was literally just this cutout piece of carpet, super dirty and nasty. So this room I completely had painted in a really awesome, like kind of nice blue color, repainted the ceiling, did a new LED light in here. Pretty much everything has been redone in the home, right? And I also had these nice laminate floors put in. They run about $2 a square foot. And this has turned into a nice office space. You can see my entire desk here. I have this great layout. And I've even got more room over here. I've got like a filing cabinet, some other things, little cat hangout. And let's kind of go through and we'll take a look around the house. Of course, there's also going to be cats running around. We have several cats. This was a nice storage unit. I've just got like towels and stuff stored here, but painted everything. This entire hallway was repainted. If you remember, the staircase out here was actually completely like white and all the paint was chipped off. I had this repainted, all the spokes white and everything painted black. Another really awesome update that I made here in the last year or so, let me get the light on, is we updated this bathroom. This bathroom was just really dated. The tub was like gross. We had like a big shower curtain here. The flooring was like this stick-on stuff. So what I ended up doing is actually replacing the floor, not only in the hallway here, this was all carpet, but we also replaced the flooring with some really nice stuff in the bathroom. And then I had this amazing tile put up with a nice glass door. And believe it or not, this bathtub actually has jets in it. So this is almost like a hot tub in here. And this is a very small bathroom, by the way. Like, this is probably one of the smallest bathrooms I've been in. But it is so amazing now. I mean, like, I don't even think most modern homes have this. If you check this out, I have a temperature readout on my shower head. You know, like most luxury homes don't even have that. So these are just cool little updates. Like, this was a project doing that bathroom, for example, ran me about $8,000, and that was something that I did here in the last year. Another bedroom, and this one, I'm gonna warn you, is a little bit messy right now, but this is going to be our future little girls' room. So we're kind of setting this up right now. I'll turn on a light, but we got some clothes everywhere. That's gonna be her crib, and basically, this is a room that we had painted and also did the new floors in. I'm gonna turn this off and shut the door because the cats are trying to venture. Other than that, my wife actually has a computer set up here. This was like an opportunity where we saw, hey, we can utilize this space as a place where she could actually have a computer and a nice setup. You can see we literally utilized the space as best we could. Someone had built this custom like clothes rack thing here, and we've actually utilized it. It's a great place to put like coats and jackets and hoodies. We've got like board games stored up there. We ended up painting all of this again, as well as the hallway and everything else here, and it just turned out really, really well with the combination of everything else. I'm mid doing laundry right now today, but I've got all my socks and everything here laid out on the bed. But we ended up painting this room, doing kind of like this very dark theme. So when we go to sleep at night, it's just super dark in this room. It's like a dark green on this dark kind of blackish blue color, and ended up getting a nice TV in here. We've got like all newer furniture, newer bed frame, all this stuff that just improved the overall like look and feel of being able to live in this space. I went through and I updated not only all of the flooring and paint and all that other stuff, but we did like new lighting. Like, we got this chandelier. I ended up installing brand new smart thermostats. So this obviously saves me a lot of money and energy when it comes to like heating the home. I can control this remotely through Wi-Fi. So these are all like amazing upgrades that for a very long time to come, this is going to be something that we're always going to be able to use. Another thing that we ended up doing, if you remember, as I come down the stairs here, come say hey to Merlin. This entire staircase was actually all carpet. So I had someone come in and refinish, like sand all of these stairs and basically paint everything. So it just came out so much better than what it was. We painted this door, redid all the light switches and sockets all along the house. And there's very like minor things, like I had this old doorbell I got removed, which I still need to patch. So there's like minor things that are still being worked on. But this was that room. If you can remember in the photos, the couch actually went across right here, was blocking this whole entranceway, which was awful because this is the front door of the house. And we opened this up and kind of, you know, redid this. I had actually copied their layout when I initially moved in, and I had the TV in that same corner where they had it. And if you remember, they had a little computer over there. Now, I made this room work really well. We got some really nice couches in here. We have a little end table there. There's a light. I've got my VR set up there in the corner. These corners for like doing virtual reality. And then we actually managed to fit a 65-inch TV in here, and man, that's a weird image. I don't know what's going on. It's Netflix's preview. And I've even got an exercise bike in here. Bought this huge AC unit because it actually gets very, very hot in here. Like one of those dingy little ACs was not working out. So I got my whole entertainment set up. It's a little bit of a mess right now, but there's an Xbox, a PlayStation, a computer. I've got an NVIDIA Shield I just picked up. We've got our cat tree here in the corner so the cats can hang out. Nice storage for all my gaming controllers. And another awesome area that we ended up spending a lot of time on was this kitchen, right? If you remember, the cabinets and everything I mentioned were all brand new, but what I ended up doing with this space is we actually did this nice two-tone paint. It's kind of like a blue with purple all along the edges, and I had that done a few years ago and it came out awesome. I pretty much kept most of the stuff here, although that oven was very dated. So we recently got a brand new oven. This was about $1,000. And I ended up buying like a really nice kitchen island. You can see that one's much better than the one we had. Beyond that, another huge upgrade was those tiles that we had in here were really like cracking and starting to fall apart, especially right here as you'd walk through. These would all crack and just start to cause issues. So a huge project that I actually did here this past year, this room was kind of that side room. We kind of make this a storage and cat room. We got another huge cat tree in here, cat litter, all that good stuff. But what I ended up doing with this space is we removed all the laminate in this room, and then all of the tile, I had my neighbor come and help me. I paid him. We ended up chipping all of that away, and we installed this brand new vinyl flooring, which was very expensive. It was over $4 a square foot. And this is completely waterproof. It looks 10 times better. It maintains much better. There's no like grout lines or any like nastiness going on. And with that project, we ended up remodeling this small bathroom. So I put like a brand new toilet in here, a brand new vanity. We painted this, and it ultimately ended up turning into something that was really nice. So beyond that, I thought I'd show you guys like the last part of the house, and then we'll wrap this video up. And this is actually in progress. So maybe I'll do another video when it's done, but this was something I was really excited about, and it's basically an in progress project. Might be a little loud because the washing machine's running, but this is the basement. And I thought to myself, you know, this is a storage place, but why not spend a little bit of money and actually turn this into a livable space? So these stairs were in really rough shape. We still have some holes we're patching from things coming up through here. But basically I had a contractor buddy of mine come in and redo this entire staircase. We built this entire landing that comes down here, and this entire piece was actually not here. This was all missing, and we built an entire wall here with a pocket door frame. And don't mind the mess, but again, as I said, it's in progress. We got flooring and all kinds of stuff going on. It's very dirty. I'm basically in the midst of painting. We ended up more or less building out this entire frame for this door, which leads into the laundry space, and this is the basement-y area, so to speak. And this is now going to become my wife's office. So we're actually gonna have her computer move from that upstairs area down here into this space. And you can see we had to make some adjustments with the ceiling due to like piping being a little bit low. But this actually, you know, for what it is, you can get a pretty good idea. I'm not done with the painting. I just did the first coat yesterday. This is basically going to become a nice room where our future child and my wife can actually hang out. She can have her own office down here, and it's all gonna be secluded from the laundry area with this nice pocket door we had installed, this little landing. I still have to do drywall here up in the ceiling and down beneath the stairs. But this is something I'm really excited about because this is actually how I've been spending my money, right? I'm turning this $120,000 home into someplace that's actually really nice to live. You know, we have a really nice bathroom. We've got all this living space. It's basically turned into a 4-bedroom house with 2 bathrooms, and I'm literally paying less than what someone might be paying to rent in a small apartment nearby down the street. So again, I wanted to kind of conclude this video with that, show you guys some of the projects that I've been working on, how I utilize some of the money that I've been earning from, you know, doing this stuff as an entrepreneur. But I'll leave this with, if you guys are interested in learning a little bit more about what I'm doing, definitely go and check the link below in the description. I'm gonna leave a link to download my ebook, which is what I've used to go out there and actually land a lot of clients, which allows me to afford to do upgrades like this around my home, right? I went out yesterday and I spent $100 on paint and just did it like it was no problem. Like, I ended up spending probably overall in just this one project alone close to $5,000 or $6,000. Buying all the drywall, paying an electrician to come in and do all the lighting that's all up in here, doing all the mudding, buying all the material for the door, buying all the new stair treads, you know, and then I had to buy some flooring material that's gonna go down at a later time. And of course, all the labor and love that just goes into this project. So Anyway, as I said, be sure to check the link below if you're interested in learning about how I'm, basically sort of living this, like, I guess you could say, somewhat of a luxury minimalistic lifestyle. Definitely check out the link below, and I'll also have an opportunity where you can book a call with me and learn a little bit more about how I'm going out there and getting clients and getting this stuff moving. So anyway, I hope this video is cool for you guys. Maybe I'll do another update once this project's done. And if you have any questions on any of this stuff, definitely feel free to leave a comment rather in the comment section below.